I have a cot today. I got this cap as a Christmas present for my son Don. When I put it on, it keeps my head warm like any other cap, stocking cap. But this one has this fancy light in the front. So that when I go outside in the dark, I can turn that light on and see things that are maybe 10 to 15 feet away from me without the benefit of additional light. The light's great for showing me what obstructions might be in my way or for illuminating something that I'm looking for or working on in the dark. If I turn the cap around so that the light shines behind me, then I can't see what's in front of me. But I'm providing a beacon for anyone who might be trying to follow me. I don't want to wear the battery out. Because sometime I might need that. I don't need that this morning. But that's how light works. Some lights shine in front of you, like a street light or a headlight on a car, to illuminate where you want to go. While other lights, like cell tower lights and lighthouse lights, cast a beam of light into the darkness to lead someone toward something or away from some danger that lurks in the darkness. The attraction of God's light in our scripture readings this Epiphany Sunday can both illuminate our path and lead us on the path of God's choosing. Arise, shine, for your light has come, and the glory of the Lord has risen upon you. Isaiah 60, verse 1. The prophet proclaims that God's light as a beacon has come to Jerusalem and Zion to guide God's people as they return from the Babylonian exile. This reading is an oracle in 2nd Isaiah, promising redemption to Jerusalem and Zion, the second name for the city of Jerusalem. God's light will shine on the holy city to draw first the people of God, and eventually all the nations to the city as part of God's redemptive plan. God's light is powerful in these verses, acting as a beacon that will draw them back to Jerusalem, where the temple, God's earthly home, represents his presence among the people. Once they return to the holy city, the light will become more like a street light and directing their lives in accordance with God's plan for them. So verse 6 of Isaiah 60 may have inspired the wise men to begin their trek. A multitude of camels shall cover you, the young camels of Midian and Ephah. All those from Sheba shall come. They shall bring gold and frankincense, and shall proclaim the praise of the Lord. Midian, Ephah, Sheba, Nebaioth are all Arabian tribal groups from whom the Magi probably originated. The offerings of gold and frankincense were among the gifts offered to the child by them, the men who came from the east to Bethlehem. Other ancient Jewish prophecies came out of Isaiah as well, and these words may have caught the attention of our travelers. Isaiah 9:2 says, "The people who walked in darkness have seen a great light. Those who lived in the land of deep darkness, on them the light has shone." In ancient times, indications of divinity through the stars was not that unusual. These wise men were astrologers, so the movements of the stars were an indicator to them of the birth of someone important. The Epiphany for the wise men is both visual, they're following the star, and prophetic. They've been led by the light to several Jewish prophecies, including the star prophecy from Numbers 24, verse 17, which says, I see him, but not now. I behold him, but not near. A star shall come out of Jacob, and a scepter shall rise out of Israel, and it shall crush the borderlands of Moab, and the territory of all the shepherds. God's light in those prophecies acts as a floodlight and illuminates the path forward for anyone who wants to read them. God's light is also a beacon, the star, for the wise men to follow. So let's go back to Matthew's Gospel. The wise men have stopped in Jerusalem to pay their respects to Herod and to see if he knows where the king was born. Now, Herod has an epiphany as well. His epiphany is one of fear, because now when he heard the wise men's questions, they are inquiring about the legitimate heir to the throne he now occupies by appointment from Rome. So Herod and his court are afraid. He does not see the light, and darkness leads him to act out of self-preservation. So in secret, he goes to the wise men and asks them to help him identify and locate the child. When they have done so, they are to report back to Herod, who will eliminate the threat and preserve his reign. Herod's advisors identify the birthplace as Bethlehem, using a combination of verses from Micah chapter 5, verse 2, and 2 Samuel chapter 5, verse 2. Both passages originally referred to David, but in Matthew's Gospel they're applied to Jesus, the true heir of the house of Israel. Herod sends the wise men on to Bethlehem, hoping they'll return to him with a precise location of the child. The wise men have another epiphany when they arrive at the stable. They are taken by the light of the star to the stable, and they bow down to worship the child and offer gifts of gold and frankincense and myrrh. Their quest, having come to a successful end, now they have a dream. And this time, the voice of God intervenes to warn them not to return to Herod on their way home. An epiphany is apparent in all of the characters in both of these scripture readings. People who are diligent enough to search for God's love and light, and then brave enough to follow that light once they see it. As we saw in our candlelight service, a single light from one candle can light up a small space. But when that light is spread to others, as it was on Christmas Eve, we could light up the whole sanctuary while singing silent hymn. God's plan for us is to light up the whole world with his love. And that's what Paul wrote in Ephesians, so that through the church, the wisdom of God in its rich variety might now be made known to the rulers and authorities in heavenly places. In verse 10. Has God's light shone forth in our lives this Christmas season? Maybe there was a scripture passage that stuck in your mind and brought light to your understanding. Or maybe it was a dream or an angel encounter that changed your perception of the miracle of God's light shining on earth for all to know. we've been blessed with an epiphany that allows us to have a closer walk with God as we continue our journey through the challenges of the 21st century. Be still and give God a moment to shine his light into your life. It only takes a moment for you to have an epiphany that changes your perspective and lights up the world for others.